everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thriving Talk. If you didn't know, this is me, Tim, asking questions to my dad, Tinku Thompson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and so glad to be with you again.
Anything new?
Well, things are going fine. Something interesting. You asked me anything new. When I did my doctorate and thesis, I wrote about faith, religion, and AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And I have a website, theologyai.com,
Go check it out.
where I used to post things and everything. And one of my points in my thesis was this all about AI generating sermons and all.
Yeah.
So recently I came across something where I was actually trying to see, and somebody actually did something with ChatGPT, which says that, it's a tool now, prepare a sermon and in a Pentecostal style and preacher style, and that sermon looked actually wonderful to me, what the AI generated.
You want to read a bit of it?
Yeah?
Read a bit of it?
Yeah, it is. Maybe I'm going to post a blog about it this week, actually, in the next couple of days here. But the interesting thing is, I actually tried another AI generating tool, which is part of Notion. And what I found was fascinating, because I said something like, okay, write something about faith and science, and it actually came out with very good an article about, or a good write-up about faith and science. And then I asked, or I wrote, I wanted to see how to generate sermons and with ChatGPT. And what I learned is that actually it responded back saying that, it can generate outlines, it can generate good sermon points and all. So I think what I thought could be a possibility and its implications 3-4 years ago is actually becoming a reality now.
You think AI will take over the world?
No, it's not like AI will take over the world, but I think the bigger question is, how is it going to impact us?
Yeah.
Right? So, are we going to just do this thriving talk with something generated out of an AI? You could.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you cannot. And then, so I think one of the biggest impact would be the search engines. So now you don't have to search and look through stuff. You can just type it to the AI will give you the answer. The validity of those answers is still questionable, and there are a lot of other complications. But I think it's pretty exciting to see that this is happening. When I say exciting, in the sense like, this is what I thought, and that's what's happening. So.
All right. So you want to get started now?
We can. I was just saying that I was doing something today, and that's new, actually. So I'm going to post some blogs about it this week for sure.
Are you going to generate it with it?
Maybe I would generate one and post completely on that with a disclaimer, and then I will post another one writing about it. I should do that. Good idea. Yeah.
All right. So everyone, today we're going to talk about the topic Think Right, Do Right, and Feel Right. Now, the title might sound a little bit different, but we'll get into what it means. So, as my first question, I want to ask you, how does what we think about ourselves affect us?
Think right, do right, feel right. So when I also came across this topic a few years ago, I was also thinking, what is this all about? And then
doesn't it sound a little?
It sounds a little weird or odd in the first place, But the more I thought about it, or when I looked into it, I felt like this is very important. So what it means is, so you're asking, how does our thinking about ourselves affects us? Yeah, we always have a principle that we should care about others, we should think about others, but this is different. This is your perception about yourself, and your own life can have a big impact on your reality. The thoughts The things we do, the things we feel, shape how we react to the world around us.
So what we feel about ourselves.
Yeah, it's just not the feeling about, but starting with the thinking. So when you have a good perception, the things are done in the right way. But when you have a bad perception, for example, you wake up in the morning and you are already thinking that this day will be a bad day, and already you lost the half of the battle there itself. But
so you're making it a bad day.
you are making it a bad day, and you will react in that way, and you will not be having the motivation. But if you start thinking that, no, this is a day which the Lord has made, and then I need to be, mindful about that fact and move forward. So thinking is very important, and sometimes people are not confident, they are down, and they feel inferiority when they compare with others. They feel worthless. All these negative emotions can come in their life. But the important thing is we should think good about ourselves. When I say it's not based on just our thinking, it is also based on how God sees us. He created us as His own, in His own image, and we are precious to Him, and we are precious in His own sight, in His sight. So we don't need to belittle ourselves or think that we are worthless, we are useless or good for nothing. But we should understand that we have a purpose in life, and we should pursue life with this desire to fulfill that purpose.
So good thoughts about ourselves make us a better person.
It may not make a better person in the perspective many people may think, but it definitely changes your outlook, and how you behave with others can also change. Let's say you are a positive person, you will start seeing things in a very positive way. Otherwise, if you are already negative, and if you see something even slightly negative, you will make that as a big deal because you're already full of negativity, right? And then somebody didn't acknowledge you or did something, you can blow that out of proportion, and a small issue can become a bigger issue. But having that a very stable, good thinking and a very positive outlook about life is very important.
So what are some ways we can make ourselves feel good, or what are some ways we can think about ourselves good?
So before getting into that, let me say, so when we started, we said think right, do right, and feel right, right?
Yeah.
So let me give you one example. So I get up in the morning, just think, anybody, we get up in the morning, and we have a plan for the day, right? And we are thinking that, okay, I'm going to do this, something good. And then when we start doing it, we start feeling right about it. We feel good about it, So that feelings and everything, so that can only come with doing. So it starts with thinking and then doing, and then you start feeling good about it. So I can tell you, like, the days in which I have a list of things to do and I have accomplished some of those things, I really feel good because I've done those things. And a day when I was slacking and maybe I did not do anything, maybe I was busy, whatever could be, evening I'm feeling little down because I didn't do what I'm supposed to do. So
like making a plan, and then if you accomplish it.
Yes. So it's not only thinking, doing
and
feeling. Then the feeling comes. But if you don't think right, you won't do right, and you don't feel right. So make that clear. So now coming back to your question about what are the ways in which you can think right. That's an important question because a lot of people struggle. So there are a few practical tips I can share. Number one, we should have encouraging thoughts, encouraging notes, encouraging cards, encouraging books. A good thing is in the morning, read something which is positive, which motivates you, which encourages you, which strengthens you.
Isn't the world more negative?
World is negative, but you can read Bible.
Yeah, that's
as a child of God. You have good books you can read, which gives you good perspective, right? So I have a goal nowadays. I had it for some time, but to read at least a little bit, right? So these days I'm doing a devotional reading on something related to persecution and stories of people who are suffering and struggling. So right in the morning, I'm so thankful sometimes when I read about them, because when I read about them, I realize that how blessed I am, and also understand that I don't have to complain about different things because, I am in a much better place than many people are. So that's one thing. So try to look at encouraging things, encouraging things and all. Number two, I want to just say that we should be listening to encouraging, uplifting things. It could be music, it could be audio, it could be a message, something of that sort. It could be anything which brings positivity into our mind. Don't start reading negative news right away in the morning. Don't feed yourself with that negative things, right? Listening to negative things. So that's another thing. The other thing is you could seek the help of others if you feel like you are always dwelling in negativity. What we call as accountability partner. Someone with whom you can talk and who can encourage you, who understands and who can lift you up when you are down. So that's another thing. Similar way, you can have a mentor with whom you can have conversations, who can encourage you, who can help you, right? And but make sure that they are positive. They themselves think right? Don't go to somebody who is already in a very bad shape, because then they can drag you down along with themselves. Then I think you should be humble and you should be thankful. Pride should not come in our life. Sometimes we think too much about ourselves and then we tend to lose, when we feel like some things are not going our way. So, as I said, read, listen, have people in life, and, be humble, and then guard yourself against negative thoughts. That's very important. This all comes. Don't watch things, shows, movies, social media things which are negative. If there are people on your social media feed who are always putting negative things, right? Unsubscribe or remove that things from your. If you are somebody who checks because a lot of times what happens is that negativity can spread, right? And then you are in the morning, if you're reading something, you read all negative things, and then the whole day you feel negative about things, and you will be a negative person. So try to get rid of those things. Try to watch encouraging things, things which can bring good thoughts, good feelings into your life.
Could we ever use negative stuff as a positive? Like you said about that persecution, like that's negative, but then you use
negative from a human perspective, but not negative from the big picture perspective, right? So that's not. I when I read it, I don't feel negative at all, because I'm actually strengthened by what they are saying.
Yeah.
Like somebody who is going through very difficult time is also telling that I find joy in the Lord. I'm finding the peace of God. I'm finding, basically something which challenges us to think, right? So even though things sometimes may from a worldly perspective, but what I'm referring to are things like, somebody is saying, oh, our political leaders are corrupt, this, that, maybe, but then everything is going to end, economy is going to crash, everything is going to end today, disease is going to spread, people will, things of that nature, which if it is to happen, it will happen. Nobody can stop it. But then why do you want to lead a life with all those, fear and negative thoughts in your life? So those are some of the practical tips.
So this was something I've learned in Sunday school, and I want to hear what you could say about it. So my question is, what's the causes of good choices and bad choices?
Good choices and bad choices.
It kind of goes with the DoRight part.
Yeah, good choices. We can say a lot of things about that, but fundamentally I think what we need is a good base, good understanding, right? And good encouragement. So let's process this a little bit. What is a good choice and what is a bad choice? Let's say we're watching a video which is good, and there is another video which is not that good. How do we decide whether we will watch the first video or the second video? It's based on our conviction. It's based on our understanding. It's based on why we watch and why we don't watch, right? So I think we need to have that base understanding about what God wants from our life. There is no place for morality if we take out the spiritual aspect of it or God out of the equation, right? When I say there is no need of morality, there is no consequences in that case. If somebody doesn't believe in the concept of God and they don't believe in any religious faith and anything, then there is no need for it. But then you reach a point where you really need those things. So what did you learn in Sunday school? Let me ask you that.
Good choices. There's how do I say this? There's consequences for both of them.
Yeah.
And certain consequences can be good.
Yeah.
Most are bad.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I just want to just bring to our attention is, of course, we all have natural laws, and then there are things which happens, right? And one of that law is that mostly if you do good outcomes will come out of it, and if you don't do good, bad, just like if you plant good seed, good things will come out of it or grow. But if you put some weeds in your vegetable garden, what is going to grow? It's not going to grow tomato or some vegetables. It's going to basically, you're going to see weeds over there. Right?
So what do you think causes...
What you saw. Yeah, what you saw. When you think about that good choices. So what you sow is what you will reap.
Yeah.
So if you will sow things which will give you good thoughts, that eventually will lead to a good position, like good thoughts, doing good, and feeling good.
So, lastly, to tie all of this up, how does this whole thing, think right, do right, feel right, how does this affect us spiritually?
This actually affects us spiritually, for sure. Let me read a verse from the Bible. 1 John 2:16 says, "For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything we see, and a pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from the world." Right?
Okay.
So, what happens is, come back. Let me make sure that I understand your question correctly. Ask again.
So, how does this
affect your spiritual life?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, just want to say that if we do bad, it impacts negatively our life, spiritual life. If we do good, it impacts positively our life. What is good and what is bad, we understand from the Bible.
Yeah.
Right? A good example is if we continue to do sinful things, it impacts our spiritual life in a negative way. If we could continue to do good things as the Bible encourages, then spiritual life will be strengthened.
Yeah.
I think I usually tell about the story of the black dog and the white dog. It's an old story.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Whatever you feed will be winning.
Yeah.
Like if you starve one, it will lose, and if you feed one, that will be winning. So if you feed yourself with good things, and if you, as an outcome, you do good, your spiritual life will be stronger, strengthened, but otherwise it will be weaker.
So if we do good things, it will help us to do good things. Bad things help us to do bad.
No, it's not like if you do good things, it will help you to do good things.
No.
If you have good thoughts and good intentions and good understanding, that can help you to do good things. And then if you are thinking about bad things, a good example I will tell you, right? So people who are playing like a lot of video games and stuff like that, which has got a lot of fight going on and violence and all, slowly develop a mentality of violence, and they will feel like doing something which is bad. But if you are seeing something where you're doing some goodness, you also get motivated to do some goodness. So that is what I was saying, we get motivated from others.
So thank you for sharing, and to everyone who listens, I hope this really helps everyone, that if we think good about ourselves, we can do the right things, and if we do the right things, we can feel the right way. So to all our listeners, thank you for listening. In the coming weeks, we will be coming back with more Dadson editions of Thriving Talk, and I'll be asking more questions. As you said I didn't say this, but this episode is available on many different platforms. Do not forget to subscribe to the Thrive and Talk podcast on your favorite platform to receive new episodes as they get released. Also, if you have forgotten, my dad has a newsletter that goes out every other week. Does it go out this week?
No, next week. It came out last week.
Okay. So, yeah, if you want to know more about Thrive and Talk and different things we do, feel free to subscribe to that newsletter. We'll be back, but until then, remember that if we think right about ourselves, we will do the right thing, and if we do the right thing, we'll feel right, and we need to feed ourselves good thoughts.
Thank you. God bless you all.